Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Just a very quick video clip this morning. It's Sunday morning, and before I go down to the land, I've just been butchering up a rabbit. We're recycling rabbits and getting a little bit of payback for all of the problems that they've been creating for me. So butchered the rabbit and just put it into little reasonable sized chunks before it goes into the slow cooker. Got some vegetables. Remember this? Came out of the garden down on the land literally a week ago, 2 weeks ago, can't remember now. And you remember those? They're from last weekend. Fresh potatoes. Don't want to get soil on the rabbit. So anyway, I just thought I'd share this with you before I set off down to the land this morning. I'll just leave it on cooking all day while I'm away. And then tonight, when I get home, we'll have some rabbit stew waiting for me. Well, that's a slow cooker on, and we've got our rabbit stew in there. Garlic potato, carrot, onion, and I've thrown in a couple of small tins of sliced mushrooms out the pantry, and of course the rabbit. So that can just sit there now all day while I'm away, and then hopefully when I come home at night, tasty rabbit stew. Good morning, it's 7:30 on Sunday the 11th of July. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and it's a bit of a different day today. Look at that, we're back to blazing sunshine again. It is a little bit wet underfoot though. We didn't have any rain as such last night, but it was kind of drizzling all day yesterday. So there was that steady, constant stream of light rain, which I don't know if you'll see it on the video or not. You can see it. Oh, something's just come down and taken a bird in that corner. You see it? Just fly off. I think I just spooked it. Some kind of hawk just literally dropped. And judging by the squeaking, but I don't know if it carried it off or not. I couldn't quite see because of the trees. I don't see anything, so I'm guessing it did. Wildlife in action. That's a pretty nice view looking out across there, to be fair. Sparkly dew on the grass. Don't know if you can see it on the video. Sun shining off the cabin. Big ball of sun in the sky. How pretty is that? Anyway, let me get myself across to the cabin, get opened up, and I'll catch up with you shortly, no doubt, for a little chat. As usual, first things first, going to sort out the chickens. They're all quite content picking away now at the corn. There was only 2 of them outside when I came. As soon as I stepped foot inside and started throwing the corn around, chaos. They were all scrambling to get out of the coop. Hopefully they've left something in there for me. Let's take a little look and see. There should be some eggs from yesterday where I left that broody bluebell hen in here. Nothing. Oh, look at that. Nothing in the end one. That's where that broody hen was sitting. So most of those, I'm guessing 4 of those. Oh, they're still warm. 4 of those are going to be from yesterday, I reckon. Well, that's a nice start to the day. 6 eggs straight off the bat this morning. There'll be a few more to come, another 3 or 4. Food and water's pretty much as I left it yesterday. Floor isn't though. They are bloody messy. I do wish they would stop roosting on this nest box shelf. Anyway, whatever. Let's get myself in the cabin and get a cup of coffee. It's not a bad morning this morning. Not bad at all. Look at those. You'd really think they'd never been fed. Oh dear. Well, good morning. It's Sunday already. The weekend does just fly by. It's like it never happened on Monday morning. Time, the big enemy of us all. Not quite sure what we're going to get done today. I think will be a bit of a mix match kind of a day. I've brought down 2 more bags of compost. I called on the way home yesterday and picked up another 2 bags. I don't think I'll need any more this year. I'm hoping I won't need any more this year. I'm conscious I've got some potato containers which will need planting out at some point over the next 2 or 3 weeks, just to keep that continuation of succession planting and harvesting going on. I really do want to try and get all the way through to Christmas, just continually harvesting and hopefully be able to store some over the winter period. I'm a bit limited as to how much I can store. I don't really have a root cellar as such. It's like everything else. There's so many things I would dearly love to do, but it's a combination of time and money. Neither of which are plentiful. But I don't know, we'll see how we get on. It is all a big experiment. And talking about experiments, the planting this year has been a bit of an experiment, and I noticed a few comments in the video yesterday and in a couple of other comments previously about people's experience this year with the planting. It seems I'm not alone in having failures with germination or pests getting the seedlings before they've managed to get to maturity. Other people are as well, and it's been a crazy year this year. When you think about all of the different variables for being successful with your planting, we've been punished really this year from a whole variety of different things. We've had the weather, and I know people around the world in different countries have experienced not exactly the same conditions, but quite similar conditions, in that we've had late frosts, which we had here in the UK this year, followed by combinations of multiple weeks of heatwave, unseasonable for the time of year. I mean, we were having temperatures here in the cabin, in the garden room, in the mid-30s, and indeed in the cabin on a couple of days it went beyond 40, which is just completely ridiculous. And you saw the evidence on the various plants, whether that was the fruit trees or the tomatoes. That did really knock back the plants. We've had weeks of cold, windy, wet weather, just at the wrong time when you're trying to bring along seedlings and pop them outside. So the weather has been against us this year, and I reckon we're a good month, maybe more than a month behind in terms of where the plants should be versus where they are actually. Evidence that yesterday with the potatoes. I've lifted 2 containers of potatoes. Both of them could really have done with another 2-3 weeks in the ground, just to give the smaller tubers that chance to develop more to a better size for cooking and eating. So yeah, weather. Pests. Evidence the video yesterday. We've pretty much had it all so far this year, as indeed have lots of other people. There's the usual suspects, the rabbits, but we've also had the birds. So I've had damage from pigeons and crows and magpies just coming along, and not really for food. They've just been decimating the raised beds. I mean, the strawberries, they're not eating the foliage on the strawberries, or the potatoes for that matter, but they're just demolishing the foliage. Rabbits and birds have been digging up the seedlings as I've planted them, and we've seen that on various raised beds around. And then more recently, the dreaded butterflies and caterpillars, and of course the slugs that I was pointing out yesterday. So it's been a really challenging year this year. I've had seed germination failure, I've had weather problems, I've had pest problems, on top of the normal time problems. So yeah, not as productive and varied plantings and harvest this year. Lots of stuff that I was hoping to harvest over the next couple of months are no longer there, such as the swede and the cauliflower and the cabbage. Other things didn't germinate, the peas, so they're not going to be there to harvest. The saving grace, I guess, has been fruit, because I've had lots of strawberries and blueberries this year. I've got tomatoes yet to come this year, and of course the carrots and potatoes. It's been really difficult resisting the temptation to lift the first bucket of carrots. If you've been viewing the channel for a while and you've seen me go through the year, you'll know that the first couple of buckets got hit by frost. So there weren't that many of the seeds actually followed through from germination to decent sized mature plants. And I actually took out some smaller seedlings from subsequent buckets and transplanted them into those first ones. So I know already that those first few buckets will be very low in terms of yield, and whilst I might get a few decent sized ones, a lot of them will be very, very small. So why am I rambling on about planting and the various problems that we've had with planting? Well, I guess the main reason is to highlight, if you're prepping for long-term grid down and being self-sufficient in food, you have to bear in mind that not all years are going to be equal in terms of production, and this has been a classic year. Things that did succeed last year haven't succeeded this year, and it's going to be a real challenge to see what we actually end up with in terms of final harvest. And yes, whilst I'm fairly confident I'll have good crops from potatoes and carrots, I'm not expecting hardly anything from other plantings this year. So if your life did depend on it, if there were no shops and what you grew was your food for the year, it just kind of demonstrates how fragile it is trying to be self-sufficient in your own food, and that you are going to have crop failures from year to year. So if anything, I guess you need to be mindful of that and continuously overplant if that is your only source of food. Anyway, enough on food self-sufficiency and planting. In terms of things to do today, I did say it's going to be a bit of a mix match. I've got that compost to bring across. I'm going to pop out in about a couple of hours time to a local farm store and pick up a little bit more food for the chickens and some more bedding for the chickens. It's not that I'm running out or running low on supplies, because I'm not. I can't see because the door's closed. I've got at least 3 20-kilo sacks of layers pallets in there, and another almost full 20-kilo sack of different kinds of mixed seeds. So I could quite happily go on for the next 4, 5, maybe more weeks with what I've got, but I don't want to. I just want to do what I do with all of my other food and prep supplies, is just keep topping up. I'm conscious that supply chain is a bit fragile. I'm also conscious that the raw material that the chicken feed is made from, given poor harvests, could well be in short supply as we go through the rest of this year. So I'm trying to just put a little bit of an insurance policy in place in the cabin, in terms of just building up the stocks, and then I know for sure I can get all the way through the winter without any issues, and then we'll be back into the cycle of as we are now. Bit of dry grain food for them with stuff that I'm producing from the garden itself to supplement. Anyway, let me get this coffee down me, and we'll see what we get done during the day, but just do bear in mind it might be a little bit haphazard. I did a little bit of work this morning before I came out, preparing some food for me later in the day, so at some point in the video, if I haven't already done it, I'll show you some clips of that. Don't know if you can hear the pump pumping away in the cabin. I'm just checking on water storage. These barrels are completely full. A quick look at those IBC totes, see where they are. Oh, look at that. Over 1,000 litres each. I'm really pleased to see that, because they've taken a right hammering over the last few months, and this little bit of rain that we've had has thankfully managed to top them up, so that's excellent news. Well, I just can't help myself every time I come through the polytunnel here. I just have to keep picking blueberries. Amazing amount this year. Very thankful for it as well. Similar story with the strawberries as well. I just can't help myself. They are just so sweet. You would think they'd never been fed in their entire lives. That's lettuce from the chicken's vegetable patch, which is still going strong actually. I'm pretty amazed. There's still a lot in there. I might give them a little bit more later. Am I too soft with them? Oh dear, no sign of the next batch coming through yet. I don't see them. But we've got a while yet. There's still plenty to go at. Well, the sun has decided to come out to play, and it's starting to warm up a little bit, so the bees are out foraging around. So I thought, while it's not raining, I'll take the opportunity to have a quick look inside, see how they're getting on, and whether or not I need to add that super box onto the top of the hive. So I'll just get myself suited up, get the camera on the tripod, and hopefully you'll get a decent view as I go through the bottom box of the hive and see what they're doing. Well, here we go. Hopefully they don't get too upset when I start roaming around inside the hive. It's very hot inside. Everything's stuck together really well. They've obviously built something underneath. Look at that. They're building comb on the roof. An awful lot of activity in here. I don't think they're too happy with me. Yeah, everything's stuck together pretty well. All the frames. Just got to be a bit careful I don't get the bees. Let's take a little look at these back frames first and see what's going on. If Simon's watching, you're right about these gloves. I do need to get some thinner. Yeah, there's nothing on that first frame at all. Yeah, nothing at all in the edges. They're just starting to draw out that frame. A lot of activity on there. Not filling that side yet, but grown out. Starting to fill that side. lots capped off on there. And we're into the centre one. This one's well stuck down. I'm being really gentle because I don't want to... That's better. I don't want to annoy the bees too much. This is the one I really want to look at, which is right in the centre. Lots of capped off cells there, but you can see they're growing the frame at the bottom, which we don't really want them to do. So much activity going on in here, you wouldn't believe. And again, lots of capped off cells. I'm not seeing any honey yet. Awful lot more bees in here now than there were before. Awful lot. I'm just looking at the bottom to see if there are any casualties, but I don't see any. Again, I'm not seeing much honey. Just trying not to squash the bees when I move these frames around. I think they're getting a bit mad now. Now I'm seeing honey. In this top corner here, I've got honey, and a little bit down this side. And then we're starting to thin out a little bit as we get towards the front. Yeah, this front one, not much going on. They're just starting to draw out the comb at the front, and the back's pretty much untouched. Very good. We'll get it all put back together and they can calm down a bit. No way. Trying not to squash them as I put this back together. Okay. There's one buzzing around me here, is getting really frustrated with me. Okay, I think that's everything back together. Go away. Let's do this slowly so I'm not squashing anybody. Come on, get in. Okay. Well done. So that's everybody back in. I'm guessing you can hear that. So everything seems to be okay inside the hive. They are gradually spreading out, but no need yet for that super box. We'll just keep checking every couple of weeks and see how we get on. I don't know if you saw my post on the community tab the other day. It was about solar flare activity today and tomorrow, and looking at the sky I don't think they're far wrong, because that sun today is mega bright. I've just caught it behind a tiny bit of cloud there, but the intensity is massively more than it has been over recent weeks. Really bright. So much so, in fact, that I'm just debating whether I should get the tractor out and have a run round the entrance to the field. Don't know. Well, it's a bit wet, but it is picking it up, which is good. So I'll get this load put onto the compost pile, and then we'll see if we can get a little bit more done. Well, the driveway's down, and this little area around by the what was the old aggregate pile, that's now down. It's looking very nice. It's only a small patch, this, really, but it does get overgrown quickly, especially around these trees here. And you can see the difference between what I've cut around this tree and the rest of the field, which is absolutely heaving with clover. So I don't know, I'm tempted to just do this top bit here and leave the rest. I'm kind of taking advantage while it's dry enough to cut, because I don't know what next week's going to bring at all. So I think I might just run round this little patch. Tractor will need some fuel shortly, so I can't do much more than that anyway without refueling. Well, that's this top bit cut. It's quite wet down this end, actually. It's been a bit of a struggle, but it's done. So that's looking very nice. All around the aggregate pile area is all done. And you can see where I've stopped. So there's all this centre section left to do, and all the way down the side of the woodland, right the way down to the cabin. But that's not for today, because as usual, time is beating us. So I'm going to pop down, empty the grass out the little red tractor, fuel up, and I'll leave this bit for next weekend. Fingers crossed it's dry enough to do it. Still loads and loads of clover there for the bees to go at, so I'm not worried about food for them. Plenty of stuff for them to go at. So, well done, little red tractor. Another day of grass cutting. Doing the final empty of the grass and getting ready to refuel tractor, so I thought I'd share some of the bounty with the chickens. So they're busy pecking away now at the grass, and they seem to be enjoying that. I'm sure there's quite a few insects in there as well for them to go at. Anyway, let me get this grass sorted out, fuel put in the tractor, and then we can get it away. Well, that's the tractor away. I'm just going to quickly check what we've got in the chicken hut, see if we've got any more before I go. Not really expecting very many, to be honest. Nothing. Oh, hang on, we've got two in here. Oh, and we've got two in there as well. Excellent. Let's get those out. And get those out. Look at that, full house. 10 eggs. You can probably hear the water pump going again. I've just been running around watering the plants. Polytunnel's done. I've done this already today. I'm just conscious that it's going to be 2 days now before I get a chance to come back and do it again, so just giving it all as much watering as I can. I'll top up the cans. Talked about topping up cans. Got a petrol can there. I've used a full can with that bit of grass cutting I've done today. I think I've picked the right time to do it, because as I look around, the dark clouds are gathering. So I think it's only a matter of time before we get a bit of rain, and I'm not complaining because the raised beds do need it, but it's been so close and muggy today. And that sun earlier, God, you wouldn't believe how hot that was. I'm actually dripping with sweat now, so it's a good job you can't see me. Anyway, I'll get these cans filled up, get everything locked away, because it's the day is almost done. Well, that's another day and another weekend. I think the rain's definitely coming. Those black clouds are getting bigger and bigger. Everything's locked away. It's looking very nice and green. With a bit of luck, we'll get a little bit more rain overnight tonight, just to water the raised beds outside, and of course to top up the water storage. So that's another day and another weekend. Wherever you are, I hope you're all staying safe and well, and I hope you're having a great weekend. Well, I just got home from the field, pulled out a packet of dumpling mix from my long-term food stores. Very easy this, he says. You watch it go wrong. So we're literally just adding some cold water into this, giving it a bit of a stir around. Apologies for the background noise, that's my cabin clothes in the washing machine. A little bit muddy today. Just looking for the right consistency for this. I think we're almost there, in fairness. You don't want it too sloppy. Right, literally all we're going to do with this just need a bit of flour. Onto our little board. It's a bit like making bread. And all we're doing is just forming the little dumplings. Doesn't have to be an exact science. There we go. There's one. There's two. Three. Four. And we're literally just going to pop this straight into our stew. It's been on low heat for, I don't know, what's that? About 5.5, 6 hours almost. I've just turned it up to high when I came in. I didn't dare leave it on high while I was away. And there we go, there's our dumplings. Well, that's it for this video. Bit of a mix-match kind of a day there for you, but hopefully there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What do you think about the planting year so far?
pretty much of a mixed bag for the weather and pests and all of the other problems that gardeners have to work their way through during the season. Have you had any problems? Let me know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.